Okay, let's see. I believe I'm live. Let's check and see what's going on. Yes, we are live. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Checking the difficulties, technical difficulties. Let's see what's going on. I'm your host, Mike Pugh of the Virtual Intel channel, and we are back in full effect. I'm back with a vengeance, and it's going to be awesome for y'all folks to catch this live session. If you're tuning in, thanks a lot for watching. We are on a Google Collab page. This actual location is known as Thin-Plate Spline Motion Model. So what is it? It's pretty much a way for you to create animations utilizing some pretty profound and high-powered AI technology behind the screen, hidden behind the screen. So you see all this stuff that you're seeing. This is how it starts, but I found a very simple way to do it, very easy, utilizing this Google Collab page. All you have to do is run each cell. If y'all folks are familiar with AI art and anything dealing with the AI community, pretty much using Google Collabs, you should know by now that these little play buttons on the left side of the screen are a way for you to get the collab to work and function on your computer through a web page. And more than likely, it's the best web browser to use is Google Chrome. So if you have Google Chrome on your computer, or if you don't have it, download it. That's what I recommend. And then you want to also be logged into your Google account to get this page to work. So once you got all that done, those are the prerequisites, and that's the most complicated thing you're going to need to perform this. So the output that you're looking for, the byproduct of this, is an actual animation that you can generate. And I'm utilizing, I'll show you off of my computer, I'm utilizing different files. So when you're on your computer, what I recommend for you to do is create a video file, maybe of yourself. Now, I do have video files, and it's not me per se, the visual. This is a MetaHuman. If y'all folks ever heard of MetaHuman via MetaHuman Creator through Unreal Engine, you're able to create and generate 3D model characters without having to do it yourself. And you can go on and generate your own characters. Let me just show you real quick what it looks like. So I'm gonna go up in the media player and let it play. Mike Pugh of the Virtual Intel channel, and I have some fun stuff to talk about today. We are utilizing Pose AI. It is a dope way. I'm your host, Mike Pugh. All right, so this is pretty much me utilizing my voice to control this model. So this model is a 3D model from MetaHuman, from the Unreal Engine and MetaHuman Creator. So my goal today is to take this model, and is basically a video file. So taking the video file, I'm taking a very small clip of it, about 9 to 11 seconds, actually about 14 seconds. That's what it shows here on the timeline. So I'm using 14 seconds of this animation that I created a little while back, and I'm going to bring it over to that Google Collab page. Now, there's a few things you need to know to do that. All you have to do is name it driving. That's really important. So you name that file, and it should be an MP4 file that you choose to create. If it's your image, your own graphic, and you came up with you just talking in the screen, that's fine. You can do that as well. So you want to, like I said, title it driving, the MP4 file. Another thing you want to do, you want to have a video editing software. So let me just show you real quick the video editing software that I use. Reason why you want to have that is because you want to resize it. So I put it in my video editing software of choice known as Screencast-O-Matic. The reason why I use this tool is because it's really useful at resizing videos. So if you don't have this tool, it would behoove you to go and check it out. I'll put the link in the video's description area, and you should be able to get to it after this live stream is over. But pretty much I can go and import any video MP4 file. Say I wanted this one, lion, animal, or whatever, and then open, and it's going to import that. So I can go in and I can use the edit option. See, there's a little edit button on the far right side of the screen, and I can go in and I can manipulate the size by going to the canvas area. So I can change the canvas size to whatever size that I want. I could hit this lock and then make it the same exact size, which is what you need to do. You want to go to 720 by 720. That's what I recommend. 720 is not a bad pixel size. And you hit apply. And then if it's a face, like a human face, you can drag it all the way up and then center the face. This is like a cropping feature on Screencast-O-Matic. Really, really dope how you can do it. But right now it's having a little glitch. But pretty much you want to put that face, and you want a symmetric face, obviously. But you want to put that face in the center, dead center of the screen, at a good proportion of the screen. So maybe it might have a little white space on the top and a little space on the bottom from the head to the chin position. But this is just an animal, obviously, but you know what I mean. If you're using a human model, then you want to do it with a human model and get that size of the canvas at 720 by 720. Then you click done, and then you go, let's see, save file. So wherever you choose to save the file, that's up to you. You can save it to some sort of a folder on your computer, subfolder, or whatever the case may be. I put it on a folder that I created known as VidClip. So I'll go and publish it, and it's a it should be a very short file. Like I said, I recommend anywhere between 10 seconds to 15 seconds tops for this whole video creation that you're trying to do, or animation you're trying to do, through the that Google Collab page that I showed y'all folks. So after you do that, we're going to show you that file. The file is right here. So this is lion, animal, whatever the name, the title it is. You're going to rename it. So you right click. If you're using Windows, your Windows computer, you want to go down and show more options for Windows 11 or Windows 10, and then rename it, and then name it driving, like I told y'all. So driving. And what I recommend, if you have multiple files of the same name, just name it a different version. So like driving 2. So you can rename it how you see fit without getting rid of the other ones. So that's that. But we're not going to use this one per se. I just wanted to show you the method that I did this one here, which is to the left. I have driving 1, and then driving 2. So all of these are video files. And if you hover over it, it should say MP4 and a very short time span. If you use a long length, like this one is 46 seconds. If you use a long time, a minute or more, or anything past 15 seconds, you're going to take up too much more of the GPU processing on that Google Collab page. And if you take up the GPU processing, it's going to time you out unless you go for the pro version and try to be, utilize more GPU processing. So you have that option when you're on this Google Collab page, but pretty much that is another part of the prerequisite of things that you have to do. Once you get your file, that's going to be the driver of this actual animation. So whatever video file that you try to create, whether it's you or something else, maybe a MetaHuman, or it could be from another 3D modeling tool if you're trying to use humans to try to create animations, or whatever you choose, it's up to you. But more than likely, using yourself could be a good reference point to start from. Once you create that video and you resize it, scale it down to 720 by 720, now you should be ready to start playing around on the Google Collab page. Another thing, one more thing that you need is an actual target image. So pretty much you're using this Collab page to morph an image to follow what that target video is driving it to do. So for example, I'll try to show you the end result of what I got over here. So we're going to open with and go to media player, and you'll see. So this is one of my tests that I did, and this is the MetaHuman animated, as y'all folks saw in the beginning, and this is my target. So the target is going to show up on the left, eventually through the collab page, and your video is going to show up on the right, and then you're going to go through another run cycle, multiple run cycles, and then the final product is going to be this. This is what you're going to get. So if you notice, it controls the whole entire character, pretty much controls everything, even the muscles, the ligaments or the facial features, the nose, the eyes, the every single thing it will control. So it's like you don't have to rig the character, you're just using an image. So if you have 3D art that you, or it could be AI art, it could be any image that you want. As long as the image should match around the same size, that's what I recommend, of the driving video. If it's not the same exact position on the screen and the same sizing, then you're gonna have some deformities and it may not even work at all. So this, if you notice the position of this head with respect to the driving video's head, is somewhat not the same, but it still worked if you notice. So you do have some degrees of freedom in terms of the reference and where you place the reference at. In terms of the reference image. So the image that you want to morph, utilizing the driving video, it should be within a certain range. And as you can see, this is a little bit out of the range, slightly out of the range, because the chin isn't the same level exactly. But you do want to try to get it to the same sort of level. The lips are not in the exact same level. The nose is not in the exact same level. And the head with the hair isn't at all. Now, if you notice, the helmet moved. And the outside lining of the helmet looked like an air strap or something like that. Or ear. Maybe this is like a cyborg head clip piece or something. I'm not sure. But if you notice, let me play it again. It all moves. So it kind of fakes the funk as if it's a real animation. See what I'm saying? So this is an amazing software, more of the AI based software that they created, and they gave us the ability for the public to utilize off of the Google Collab page. So it is pretty powerful. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to show y'all folks how I do the easy part of it. But like I said, you want to get a reference image. So what I do, I tend to go to more like MS Paint, and I play around with reference images. And like this one here, I can move it out and then go into my computer and find something on my computer I can reference from. So you would most definitely have to have something that you already brought in. So let's see what this one is like. Let's put don't save, and maybe I wanted to bring him in. Maybe we can use him just as a test specimen. So we're gonna go using MS Paint and just manipulate the pixel graphic positioning until I get something with a reasonable size with respect to the other character model. Well, not really model, but the video. The other character I have in the video from the MetaHuman model. So maybe something like that in position with respect to the other graphic. So then what we'll do is try to size up the pixels to meet the same specifications. So we'll go 720 by 720. And click OK. And then we'll have to change the width dimension, or vertical dimension, my bad. 720. There we go. So it may not work exactly the way we want it, but hopefully it will drive everything. This does look like a robot. Obviously, it doesn't look like a human, but the goal is to try to get him to be animated, which hopefully it will drive everything. So we're going to save it. We're going to bring it to that same file folder, vid clip. and then I'm gonna save it as a source. Now this particular part you have to save as a source. It's going to be named and titled SOURCE, just source. I put it as source 6, but you want to name that file, and it should be a PNG file. You don't want any other file type. You want the first file you need is the MP4 file, which is known as driving as a title, and then the second file is a PNG file and is known as source. Those two files are all you need. One video file, one image file, and both sized at the same size pixel, 720 by 720. Once you do that, let's start running the cells. So you just look at that little information. You don't really have to know everything, but you just click run anyway. It's going to run through it. Then you run through every single cell one by one, but at a certain point, you're going to stop. So at this point, at the second cell, I want you to see in your Google Collab page, you have a folder. You want to open that folder, because by opening the folder, what it's going to do is give you the ability to manipulate and go into the Google Drive itself and multiple subfolders that are within it. So you go into the Thin-Plate Spline Motion Model folder, and then you go to Assets. And you'll notice inside the Assets folder, you got driving.mp4 and source.png. So for those who are more like tech savvy, who want to know how this page works, in order for you to utilize the video, this is where you have to play around with those files. The MP4 file that I told you in the beginning, the driving.mp4 file, that's the file here. So you want to manipulate this file by deleting it or renaming it or whatever the case may be, but you want to change the name from driving if you don't want to delete it. And then the source one, you want to do the same. So I'm going to delete these two. So we go to delete file and then delete file again. And make sure when you bring in the newer files, make sure they're identical to the naming convention of those two files that you got rid of. So driving and source, it has to be named exactly, and they have to be the same exact file types. So MP4 and PNG files. So let's go to that folder, vid clip, and I got driving right here. It's a 15-second video. Double check and make sure that that video is very short, else, like I said, it's going to tie you up and then freeze you out of your page usage for your Google Collab page. I already did it with 2 different accounts. So once you get locked up, you can't get back in. It won't allow you to upload, or not upload, but it won't allow you to use it anymore for that day. So we're going to use this one here. He kind of fits the same image profile. If you notice, the head is somewhat in proportion of this head, shoulders, etc. So it should work, hopefully. We're going to go and rename it. We can either rename it here or rename it there. So I'm going to rename it there instead of inside my computer on my file folders. So we're going to open, and you can easily rename on your Google Drive collab page folder. So this is tied, I believe this is tied through your Google Drive. I'm not sure 100%. Actually, it doesn't ask you to link to Google Drive, just like the other AI pages that are through the Google Collab. It doesn't ask you to actually mount it. So you don't have to mount your drive, your Google Drive. So you can rename it directly through the collab page, source, like that. So you see the 3 tiny dots, you go to rename file. And the way I brought it in, you go to the asset folder, the 3 tiny dots, and go to upload. You can't upload on these files itself because these files are not folders. You got to go to the folder that you want to upload to. Or you can be outside it and then drag and drop. But that is not a user-friendly way to do it. Once you've done that, these 2 files are going to be detected by your Google Collabs setup. So all of this stuff that's set up in here, when you run it, it's going to go and it's going to link and tie in to these sources and this information, the driving.mp4 and source.png. So it automatically will detect it. So you ran the first cell. There's going to be a green check mark on each cell once they complete. So we got the first two cells with green check marks. That means that you don't have to redo those no more. Now we're going to go to the next cell, run that one, and they all move pretty fast for this particular purpose, which is kind of amazing to me because a lot of the other collab pages, some of the stuff will take a long time depending on your settings. This page, you don't have to change much. You don't have to do any settings changes. You don't have to do any annotations in the text area. You don't have to figure out much of anything. This is the most difficult part. So all the work that's being done is going to be mainly outside your computer in terms of getting that driving MP4 file and getting it resized and that source PNG image. Once you're done, you should see that there's another green check mark. So go to the next one. Now, the very next one, which I believe is the fourth cell, the fourth cell actually shows what it's doing in code. And you don't have to know coding to understand it. Just if you notice here, it says driving underscore video underscore path. This is where it's going to detect that file. So for those who are tech savvy, and they're looking for ways to make this page work, if you didn't understand how to make it work or couldn't figure it out, I figured it out just by playing around with these two files, because when I watched the video that I found this actual tool on, one of the YouTube creators who led me to it, I found that he was using his own computer to do it, and he has a Linux computer. So he didn't showcase how to do it through the Google Collab page. He just told us that there was an option to do it this way. So I found that he actually went into the file folders for that particular device that he was using for his Linux computer. So I noticed he did that. So that's why I tried it in the Collab page. And at first it took a little while for me to figure it out because I didn't have those same sizes. So it failed a little bit in terms of the resizing of the actual the video with respect to the image source. So other than that, we're going to run this one. So when you run it, it links it, it ties it in. And if you ran it when you first start, you wouldn't see if you didn't change these videos, the video here and the image, you wouldn't see, you know, the potential for you to move it and merge the new one that you want to create. So you wouldn't see a change or a difference from the initial default demo video and the demo graphic. So we're running the very next cell. As you see, I went to the very next one. And like I said, they run pretty quick. It will tell you an error in red on the bottom, and you'll see the reasoning at the very, very tail end of the cell. But pretty much if you run it the way I'm doing it, you shouldn't have a problem. So to review a little bit, if you go all the way back, I started playing around with the video and the source and opening up the folder for it at the second cell. So the sequence of what I'm doing will prevent you from running into too many errors. So if you do it the same sequence that I've done it, you should be able to get great results. So now you'll see as it completed its process, you got that source image that I put in, and the video, it's more like an init video or driving video. So this is the driving video, this is the source. So if you notice, they're going to be sitting side by side, right? The source to the left, the driving video to the right, and they kind of at the same size, so it should work. So let's see. We're going to go with the next one, which is a very short cell. It runs very fast. It will establish a check mark as well. So the top one got a check mark, as you can see. As long as you got them green check marks and you start seeing these video / source images, you should be good. That check mark worked, and now we're going to go with the final check mark and final run, and we'll see the end result. So hopefully, like I said, we get a really good, clean video that will be the end product. And if it works really great, then you'll know that you can do it with an Android or like a robot that has imagery looking very similar to a human being. So it has to have eyes. It doesn't necessarily have to have a nose, but if it has a nose, it should simulate what you see here as well. And then it should have a mouth, jaw, teeth, etc. So you should have all the body parts that match this image or this video driving source. Video driver to source. So once it goes to 100, it should close in on completion, and then the video will pop up in the bottom of the cell. And there we go. So now you see it looks like it's trying to drive it. It's really trying hard, but it's somewhat distorted. And that's because it's not a human face. So it may not work with the robot exactly, but another thing I can do is try to match every single position, because it's probably off in terms of spacing. So we'll try to correct that, and we'll go back to MS Paint where I did it at, and then I'll put them side by side. That's what I can do. So I'll move this over. I'll drop the, not resolution, but the viewport or preview of it, and then I'm gonna bring the other one in. So actually, let me go in as an import and then bring that graphic in and bring it side by side. So I can try to get everything at the same exact specifications. So let's see what we got here. We're gonna move him down, bring his chin down about there, and we have to raise his head. So we'll try to make his head about the same approximate size. And that looks pretty decent. Let's just go up a little bit more. And a little bit more. Okay, so that looks about the same approximate positioning for everything. The mouth isn't in the greatest position, so let's move the mouth, move the head up a little bit and go vertically, and that should be good. All right, so we'll use this as a reference instead. Maybe bring it down just a little bit and over, and then bring this back. So I'm just manipulating the sizes of the pixels using MS Paint, and we're gonna change this to 720 by 720. So 720, that changed to 724 because I have to hit this tick mark and turn it white. So there goes resizing, horizontal 720, vertical 720, and the pixel size. So we're gonna go in and overwrite the other one, so we'll save right on top of it. So now that same graphic should be corrected. So we're gonna go back to the source here, and we're going to delete this one. And it's very easy to edit this stuff. You don't have to redo everything. We're gonna go upload, and we're gonna find that recorrected source, which is source 6. Open, and then we're gonna rename this one. So all this is just quick eyeing stuff, not even drag and dropping. All I'm doing is left click, 3 tiny dots, rename, etc. So now we're gonna scroll all the way back up, and we're gonna start 1 or 2 cells from the top. So we'll hit this one, reload it, and it should correct the problem. Hopefully this corrects it. If it doesn't correct it, then it is what it is. I'll just use a human's image, and we'll know that it's not smart to use Android. But a cyborg should work because it's part human, part Android, or part robot. So that should work as an AI art. If you're trying to create cyborg art, it probably will work really well. So let's see what it does. So right now it's just running this third to whatever cell, and look, the reposition looks well. So it looks like it's much better size. So that image went through, that source.png went through. I ran the very next cell, which is the short one, and then I'm gonna run this very last cell one more time. And as I said, if your driving video is short, mine's is 15 seconds, this shouldn't take too long. This should run through pretty fast, and you shouldn't take up too much RAM slash GPU processing. Because on the Google Collab page, you're gonna have VRAM and GPU, and it's all virtual through Google's Collab. So Google offers up all of this capability for us to play around with, and other people are using this page as well around the planet. So that's why the admins that control this page, whoever developed the page through the Google Collab, they will lock you out if you're trying to use too much of it. So in order to bypass it, you would probably have to upgrade to Pro. And then the other way to do it would be to open up multiple Google accounts, and then you just click up here to change it. And as you can see, it's not working that great. It just doesn't work with the robot pieces of the face. It just can't detect it that well. So we're gonna have to use a human model or human graphic, human image, instead of using the robot. So what we'll do, let's see what I got. I got other robots here. I got Android, and this is through another Google Collab page, the NSFW disable NLP stable diffusion. So I was using stable diffusion many times to play around with the graphics and with imagery and coming up with cyborgs and different things that I wanted using text prompts and stuff. So I don't know if y'all folks seen anything about that. If you've never seen anything about that, you can check my videos that I have on my channel, or just look up on YouTube. So we're gonna try to create a prompt for a cyborg. So we'll call it a male cyborg, or yeah, let's just put a male cyborg face. Also use symmetry so that it tries to create a frontal view, because if you don't use symmetry, the term symmetry in your text prompt, then it may, you know, change the angle of the face. You want a symmetric face, and you want the kind of face that I showed y'all folks here, where you see the full head and it's not turned at any angle, because then the detection won't work that great. So for now, we're just playing around with humans, obviously, because as you can see, the cyborg didn't, or the robot didn't work. So now we're gonna run this cell. I have it all set up already and pre-configured, and I'm trying to run 4 iterations. So I have the number of iterations here will tell you how many versions you want. So I got 4 different versions, and I'm using a specific seed. So if y'all folks know about this stuff, you should know what I'm talking about. If you don't, like I said, go check and go back to older videos that I've made with respect to this kind of stuff. I've made actually very long live streams, so some of them may be hard to view the whole entire live stream, but I'll try to make some short ones for y'all folks who don't know what's going on. You don't understand any of this stuff that I'm showcasing. Just drop in the comment section below or whatever if you have no knowledge of it and you're interested in shorter videos. Then I'll try to come up with some shorter videos. But I like doing live streams because I can put more information in there, and for those who are interested will learn way more than less. Some people don't like watching live videos that are long, lengthy videos, but hey, that's to that person's fancy. If they choose not to watch, they can click off and go to other videos or other YouTube channels, etc. But yeah, just drop me some comments and hopefully I can get y'all folks that as soon as possible. But for now, I'm just playing around with this thing live. If you have any comments now, I can try to jump in, but it's not easy to do while I'm doing this how-to stuff. So I can't promise you that I'm gonna jump in. But let's see what we could do. Just watching these green bars run around as it downloads. Hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna look in my tablet to see if I could bring up YouTube and check the comments, because that's the only way I've figured out how to get to my comments. All right, so we're just running a Google Collab setup through Google Drive, and 1 second. I have to change my account because I'm logged into the wrong account somehow. All right. And then I got to change that as well. Dismiss. What is going on here? Oh, okay. All right. I just logged into my account. So, yep, the collab is up. And let's see if anybody got any comments. I don't see any comments yet. Oh, we have a thumb up. That's what's up. We got Romeo Carlos. He said, cool. All right, yeah. It is really cool. This stuff is no joke, man. Trust me. It's amazing the stuff that you can do today when you collab together with other people around the planet and you get things working. Now, for some reason, I got this thing running very, very slow, and it's probably because of my settings. So the settings that I have here, I've been playing around with this AI stuff for about 3 weeks now. I have, let's see, GFPGAN plus enhanced SGRAN. What this is basically upscaling and getting the image to look much more appealing, and also changing the pixel size. I have the width of 704 by 704 to try to get the width of the image to be around 720 by 720. Like I said, I have a selected seed that I put in there for an old previous graphic that I created. I don't have a scheduler set in there, so I'm not worried about that, but that shouldn't account for any of the lengthy time. Let me see what else we have in here. Scroll down a little bit. I don't see settings for the steps. So the amount of steps, oh, here it is, prompt settings. So the amount of steps is causing the problem. We're set at 200 steps. So when you have a higher number of steps, it's going to give you higher quality, unless you go way too high past a certain amount. 200 is like probably the limit when it comes to steps, but steps will definitely make a difference. If you bring the steps all the way down, this will run very fast. So if you go all the way down to like 1 step or 5 steps or whatever level that it could bring it down to the lowest level, it will zip by. And the graphic looks terrible. So this is the first seed, but it's okay. So you're seeing it live, how it generates AI art pretty much. And there's a lot of people who have already made these type of videos, so that's not something that is way too significant, too out of control, or impressive. But in general, AI art is, in my mind, is pretty impressive what the AI can do. Utilizing like a Google Collab page, and it's not even on your computer. It's amazing. That's what I think. So it's still running. It's going to take a long time for the very first session that you run. So just keep in mind. Now it upscaled, so it's really scaled up. What I'm going to do now, since that's completed, I'm going to see if I could bypass this. I'm going to stop it. It shouldn't have to run over from scratch because it already completed the first iteration. So I'm going to scroll all the way up, and I'm going to change the steps and bring the steps all the way down to like 60. or maybe 50. Let's bring the steps down to 50 and it should run pretty fast. And I'm going to change the iterations. Let's see, bring the iterations down to about 2. And I'm going to run it again. And I may get rid of the seed as well. So let's see. See, it's running pretty fast. And it's not going to load all of those downloading things. You're not going to see the green download. That's not going to happen. It's just going to run this really quick and iterate the first 2 iterations. It will scale it up like it did before. But yeah, man, this is pretty dope. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because I want to get a male graphic. I got a lot of female cyborgs. I want to get like a male cyborg. And so it could look, you know, and match my face. Not match my face, but match my, what am I talking about, my face? It can match my voice. Because I don't have a female voiceover for the animation. And this is not required, folks, but this is just something I'm trying to create on, you know, on the fly since y'all folks are watching live. I just have to wait for this to go all the way to 100. And once it runs up, it should be good. Now this page, to run this page is pretty simple. Like I didn't have to do much. All I had to do is leave it defaulted to prompt. I just changed the width and height, added the seed, and like I said in the beginning, I added a text prompt. So I went to the mode for prompt settings and then changed this, and then I hit the run cell button, and then it goes in and tries to run it. There we go. We got one. All right, so I'm going to use this one. He looks pretty mean, but I'm not worried about that. So we're going to go save image and then plug it in as a source, source 7. Now his head is cut off at the top, so it may cause a little issue, but at least he looks human. He's a cyborg, but he looks somewhat human, so it should work out. So let's go in on MS Paint and try to manipulate the graphic. And then what we'll do is go back, hit the back button a bunch of times and bring it back here. And then we're gonna open it and change the first initial graphic for source that I used. So I'm gonna go import, and we will look for this guy, bring him in, and bring his image down to around where that image is. So I don't know how I can fix the head problem, but actually, yeah, the head may cause a problem, but I could use the robot's head. So let's try that. We'll just take this and manipulate the pixels. Hold on, let's back up. I got to get an approximate on it. Oops. We're going to go back. See, the thing that's amazing with this stuff, I learned that all of this is like pixel art, including the including the AI stuff. The AI pretty much goes in and manipulates pixels. People don't realize that, but deep down, that's what it's doing. So when you know a lot about pixels and you can manipulate pixels yourself with different graphic editors, you'll be able to start getting better at the photo or image manipulation when it comes to you changing what the AI has generated for you. So let's go up to about 600 on the 500 on the pixel scale and see what it does. And I'm just trying to get an approximate head cap kind of thing going on there. It's gonna look kind of distorted, but I'm not worried about it. Let me just move it up like that. We could do it that way. And move it out like that. And then move it somewhere like that. There we go. Hold on 1 second. This is why I like MS Paint, because it's really easy to iterate and build upon stuff playing with pixels. All right, so his head looks kind of weird. It's fine. I'm not worried about that. What I do want is to see if he can get his mouth and head and the whole upper portion of his pixels to morph. So we'll go in and drop this down a little bit because I want to try to get an approximate match. So, and he's not really centered actually, so let's try to center him. There we go. Yeah, that's okay. So then we'll go in and get rid of that, open that up, and then just kind of like copy and paste. I don't know, copy, paste. I'm a copy paste artist too. I like playing around with copy paste stuff. Why not? All right, so we go in there and paste one more time. And well, this has to be extended. So let's do that again and just drag it down and drag this up. This part doesn't matter really, but I'm just trying to resize it so that it fits. And then we'll pour some paint in there, and that should be more of a reasonable size for the pixels. So 720 by 720. Let's change this. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I know this is kind of painstaking, but this is the kind of stuff that I do behind the scenes on my own, just to play around and learn how to manipulate. All right, so if I ever do create like a short film and stuff like that using AI art, y'all folks are seeing the backbone of what I use to manipulate it, because it will become more of a pixel by pixel / frame by frame manipulation. I'll go in and go hard at making every single frame the way I want it to look like, using MS Paint if I have to. And it's a free tool. It's pretty dope. So we're gonna go out and we will go back to the collab page, and I'll plug in that source. We're gonna get rid of this source, delete the file, and then we'll go in and upload the other one. So that was this one, source 8. We'll bring them in. It will load up, and then I'll change the name. And I believe I put it in the wrong position. So let's try to drag it up there. I messed up. So you can see that you can drag it into a folder. So I dragged it in there. We're gonna rename, and we'll delete that and enter. All right, so now we got that in there, and we'll reload it again. So we'll go back up, reload the cell for that when the video first starts and you see the source file. So we go to that cell and just reload it. As long as your collab didn't time out, you should be good. And then you just wait for that new video and the driving video and the source image to show up. See, it says HTML bracket display bracket source underscore image. That's the source image, and then comma driving underscore video. So all this is like the coding for it to project itself. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to project itself at the bottom once it's done running the cell. But you'll see, it's pretty simple. Once you change these two or change one of them, either one you want to swap out, doesn't matter. It's going to update it. So there goes the new one here on the left. Here goes the one on the right, the driving video. And then we're going to go to the short one, run that cell, and then run the last one. And after that, it should give me good results, hopefully. Now, if this doesn't work, then I would have to say that you can't use an Android graphic. But I think it's going to work. We'll see. Because probably it's also detecting texture. So textures could cause issues. If it doesn't have similar textures, then it probably won't be able to morph. We'll see. This is a test for the texture. Let's call it that. Texture, when I'm saying texture in 3D modeling, when you try to model like some sort of a 3D model of maybe a human or whatever, or any other model, there's textures and maps that the graphic actually will be utilizing to display itself. So you go in and you have to manipulate materials and textures. Look at that. It's working. Pretty dope. So it did not ignore the texture, but the morphing of the head does have a little slight issues depending on the angle and position that it's moving at. But as you can see, the mouth is working, the eyebrows is working, and if you can't tell from here and it say it doesn't maximize, you can download it here. So you go to the three tiny dots, go to download. You can change the playback, and you can also do picture in picture. Let's try that. So picture in picture didn't work too good. So we'll go back to tab. Let's just download it. So we'll download that bad boy, and we're gonna call it Metamorph 2. And it's an MP4 file video. And then we're gonna go in and try to find that folder where I put it at. So here goes Metamorph 2, and we're gonna open the media player. And there we go. This is on full screen. So what I do notice is sometimes you might have some defects in the video, which you can edit out with using some sort of video editing software. You can go in and like try to repair the pixels or whatever the case may be. How you see fit. You can play with it and manipulate it. If you use a green screen background, like if I use the green background, it will be easily manipulated. So you can go in and really chop out what sort of backgrounds that you don't want. So what I recommend is when you create your very first driving video, the driving video shouldn't have all this stuff in the background. How you see a lot of stuff, graphics and stuff in the background, you don't want to have that. You want this driving video to be as clean as a whistle, as clean as you can. It could be a white background, but I recommend that to be solid colored and very contrasting in difference from the actual target. So whatever you're trying to use as a driver, make sure it's contrasting from the background. There's a different color, an extreme difference. That's why green screens work really well. So I recommend using a green screen in the background. Once you do that, your source image, you want that to also be green in the background. See, I have two different backgrounds here. It didn't work too great. In the end product, you can see it has some sort of artifacts with the ear moving around over here. So like I said, the more cleaner your background, it may produce a much higher quality end result. So now what I'm gonna do is try to go on to Blender, but I'm gonna use my video editing tool, Screencast-O-Matic, and I'm gonna cut this video down. And I'm gonna go onto Blender and match the vocals. So I'm gonna do like a vocal manipulation for lip sync, so that you can see that this character is going to be lip synced in, because right now there's no audio, so it does not have an audio conversion. Unfortunately, that tool doesn't have that yet, or they probably never planned it to have it. It only has a video manipulation side to it, so the video is being done, and that's it. So other than that, that's a wrap on this particular how-to, which I did not plan it to be a how-to, but I wanted to show y'all folks how I was able to pull it off. I do have another tool that's very similar to this, but this particular tool is free. So a free tool works way better than any other type of tool, obviously, because you're not paying for it. If you have to pay for it time and time again, you might have a short budget and you may not be able to afford to go the full distance with the tool. So keep that in mind. You know, affordability is another thing. So using free stuff, I mean, hey, you're going to be able to do some amazing stuff. Like you can turn this into a comic book if you wanted to, and have comic book characters created off of it. And that's one of the things that I'm going to try to aim to do, is create my own comics using this type of powerful AI tooling. Now, the difficulty with trying to create a comic is to get the same exact graphic. So hopefully they can come up with ways for us to get a graphic, like using this particular same character and building more iterations of him, but with the identical look and appearance. If they can get more of a tool that does identical builds off of like a image to image graphic that you choose to punch in and, you know, try to generate, it would be really, really amazing that they can do that. Now, I did find a way to do something similar to that, but I haven't done it for video purposes, because then if it was video, you would be able to go much further past certain limitations. But for now, this is the only limitation, because he's gonna basically be in the same pose. If I can get him to change positions and orient himself, where you can see the back of his head, the side of his face, at a very, very extreme different angles, and then move through a room or something like that, or in a spaceship, or wherever I choose to put him in an environment, that would actually become full-fledged video and motion picture type of levels and quality. And I believe AI art is moving in that direction, most definitely as a VFX tool for the VFX artists who are looking to utilize it in that purpose, in that manner. So other than that, let me just go to what I was trying to do with his manipulation on Blender. So if y'all folks don't know about Blender, like I said, feel free to drop some comments and I'll get y'all to learn stuff about Blender as well. But pretty much I'm going to go on Blender and manipulate in the more of the arena and space of video editing. So let me just show you real quick what I've been doing over here. This is one of my test runs. If you don't know how to bring up the video editor, let me know and I'll try to help y'all folks to bring it up, things like that. But I'm not going to waste that time. I just want to go in and manipulate. So we're going to go to the beginning of the timeline. We're going to add and go to image sequence. And then from there, I'm going to find that actual file. So let's locate the file. It was in the vidclip subfolder. And what did I call it? Actually, I can't manipulate it. It's an actual video, so can't do it that way as a image sequence. I have to bring it in as a movie. So we go in again. Can't manipulate the individual clips. So this one is Metamorph 2. Go add movie strip. And there we go. So now with this, I have to resize it and all that. But I never really found a way to resize the video as a video edit on Blender, actually. But hold on, maybe I can do it this way. Okay, let's see. So we will crop from left about 500. Let's see what that does. That's pretty good. And then, so this is the first time I ever used the crop feature on Blender. Never really focused on this before. And you can do it manually by scrolling with the scroll wheel. That's pretty dope. And then, how do I reposition the video to center it? Let's go from the right. Boom. Okay, transform. So X scale. Oh, cool. Origin. There we go. Interesting. So I never really done that before. Now let's scale it. Okay, position. XYZ. All right, yeah. So XY position. And hold on one second. I'm gonna bring another one just to get a reference to the size. Maybe I'll bring in a regular size video. Yeah. Let's do Metamorph 1. So the regular size is from this point to this point. Let's hit the play button just to see what it does. Hold on one second. All right, that's not good. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to bring in another video. I want to bring in a video that's a regular, like 720 by 1280 by 720. So let's go in and just pull up one of my random videos. Hopefully it's something small. Let's use that lion thing that I brought in before. All right, there we go. So that's the top and this is the bottom. Good. So we'll delete that and we will scale this out even further. But now keep in mind the scaling may not work that great here because the pixels are low in quality. So we made the pixels 720 by 720 and that was how I started it. But eventually I'm going to learn how to manipulate the pixels so I can get it exactly the size that I want. But just for testing purposes and demo purposes and for this live stream, I wanted to start off as a 720 by 720 because they recommended in that actual the Google Collab in that page, but actually an outside source page for how to make all this stuff work. I read some of it and it was instructing us to do a specific thing for it. So let me highlight that so I can go in and manipulate a little bit further. And let me go back to the scale. And I wish I could do both at the same time, but it is what it is. So there we go. Now it's a full graphic. Let's bring this back over. And from here, I should be able to turn it into a video. All right, so all I have to do is change the render settings to whichever folder that I want it. So we go to the output over here on the right, upper right area and look for where I want to render it to. So I'm going to render it to that same folder, vid clip, just to keep track of it, accept, and that's my render source. And hold on one second. What just happened? Oh, I have to hit accept. So it went into that folder. Now I accepted it. So it changed the location for my output path. And then make sure that your file format is set to FFmpeg, which is over here for movie. And for those who don't know, I'm on Blender. This is Blender, not actually the Google Collab page, but this is to complete the process of the animation. So there goes the animation that I created using the Google Collab page and through that tool that's built into it, the Thin-Plate Motion Model. So here goes the start. This is on the far left side is the source. The very mid point of the screen is the driving video, and then this is the end result on the far right. So now what I'm going to do is move in the audio. To do the audio, I'm gonna have to use Audacity, but I also could try to move in the original video, and maybe that might work, but actually that won't work. So I'm definitely gonna have to use Audacity. So let me go and look up Audacity on my computer. Audacity is a audio tool for playing around with audio edits. So I recommend for y'all folks to get Audacity if you want to do lip sync and stuff like that, because it's pretty dope in what it can do. Let me install update. It needs to be updated, by the way. All right. So I'm not worried about all of this. Next. Yes. Next. Install. And the following applications are using setup. Automatically close. Yes. Hit next. It's going to close it. Gonna run Audacity now, finish, launch it, and it should come up with no problem. Click OK, bypass that. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to record from my desktop. So let's see, mic check, testing 1 2 and 3. It's not recording actually my voice, which is okay. I don't want the voice to record. I want to record from my desktop. So it should be set up already by default because I already had it set up a while back. And why did that pop up? I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the audio on from here. I'm your host, Mike Pugh,
and I'm gonna put a loop
of the Virtual Intel channel, and I have.
Then I'm gonna go to Audacity. Where did it go?
We are utilizing Pose AI. It is a dope way for
I don't know where it
me
went.
to communicate to you.
It kind of vanished.
And
so we'll look it up again.
Everything that I have.
Here we go.
Within my brainstem.
And then I'm gonna approximate
what you're capable of doing today.
Hold on.
I've been playing around with AI.
Sorry about that, folks. I had that desktop audio running through OBS, so I had to shut it off. Hopefully y'all don't hear it. So we're gonna start it up again. Hold on 1 second. Gonna hit the record. And it's not recording. All right, so that means that I have to change the settings. So let me pause this real quick. Hold on 1 second. For some reason, it is hiding in the background and going away. Hold on 1 second. Where did it go? There it goes. Pause it. I don't know why it keeps hiding and going away, everything that I'm running, but it shouldn't go away. It should show up and give me options to bring up more screens. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to knock out whatever screens I have in the background so I can get that functionality that I'm looking for. Okay, let's get rid of this one. And we're going to get rid of that one as well. I just have too many screens as pop-ups. So here it goes. Here goes Audacity. Bring it up. And let's try to get that audio set up. Let's see what it's doing. Recording device, microphone. We'll go into a loop and record. Hopefully that does it. It's detecting it. You see, it's very low. So let's go and raise the volume. And it's been really insane. There we go. Awesome. So it's working. I'm your host, Mike Pugh, of the Virtual Intel channel, and I have some fun stuff to talk about today. So I had to shut off the audio in order to raise that volume, because then it would play in my house and everybody would hear it. I'm in my living room, by the way, folks. So we're just going to let it run until we see dead space for a little while, and then I'll know where I should start it. So it's probably right there, all that dead space. And or right here. We will see. I'll figure it out. So we'll just let it run. All right, it started right there. So let's minimize. Yeah, this is the dead space portion. So we see that little, I see where it starts. All right. So the reason why I'm doing this is to create a lip sync. So I'm using Audacity to time where my audio starts. And that way I can try to tie in the positioning of the audio on Blender so that the lips will tie and link in as a lip sync through Blender's video editing software. So we will get it to stop on Audacity around now, where the dead space exists again. Boom. All right, so this is the end. I don't know exactly where it begins and where the tail end is. So I will just guess here and delete this part. And then I'm going to scroll back using the scroll tool and get to where I believe it started. So I believe it starts around here. So we're going to go all the way to the far left. And we're going to delete everything from back here. All right, so we'll delete that. And let's see the length of the audio. So the length right now is approximately 48 seconds. So it looks like it's looped many times because we're only doing 14 seconds. So from there, we have to see where we have a loop, which is not there. Let's see. I wonder if this is actually seconds. So we're going to hit play. And we'll bring the volume back so I can hear it. I'm going to pause this. And it doesn't want to pause for some reason. Why isn't it pausing? Oh, because it's not playing. All right, let's stop that. Close that out. We don't need that. And we will bring this back. Let's see. Yep, that's where it starts. I'm just now riding the wave of the audio until I find the very tail end. And you know what? I think I used the wrong video file to reference off of, because that particular video file is the 40-something seconds video file. So I may have to go out and rework that. But that's okay. I could go in at the certain seconds mark that it started at and just kind of eyeball it for the original, not the original, the video that I'm trying to iterate from. So hold on 1 second. Go back to vid clip and find the driving video 15 seconds. So I think I used the wrong one. I think I used this one as 46 seconds. So let's try to bring that up. Let's see where it stops. Dope way. All right, so I know what I said. I said dope way. So let's go in there and go back. Hold on 1 second. Hit the play. Utilizing O's AI, it is a dope way. Right there. So dope way, and then we'll cut all this out. All right. So we deleting that. We're going back, and we will start from that point. Give me a break. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. All right, I'm back, folks. So I apologize for leaving abruptly, but it is what it is. So here we go. We're gonna try this as an insertion for the audio lip sync. So we'll just go in and export it as an MP3 file. I believe that Audacity doesn't have the capability of converting to MP3 files when you first start Audacity from scratch. So you have to look up on YouTube or on Google of how to get the MP3 file capability. I kind of forgot it. I've done it many years ago, way over 10 years ago. So it's been a long time. But there's like a plugin type of thing or a file that you have to find for it, and then it allows you to convert it to MP3. So we're gonna call this I don't know, metamorph. So I know it's separate from my other ones. on my music folder. Actually, I'm gonna change this folder to that vid clip folder. I'm putting everything in the vid clip folder and save it there. Doesn't matter the name. I'll call it morph. The track title is Metamorph. Who cares? This is really pertaining to music if you're trying to create music. Album title, I don't know. We'll call it M, whatever. Track number, we'll call it 1. None of this matters. 2022. Genre, none. I'll just call it AI. I don't know. And okay. Once that's done, the audio file should show up. We're going to go to Blender. And we're going to go add audio or sound. And Metamorph is right here as an MP3 in my vid clip folder. Add sound strip. And that should work out. So hopefully. Okay, so what we need to do now is change the amount of frames. So the frames actually go all the way out to 300, around 369. How you can tell that this is the video length and this is the audio length. Looks like I'm off a little bit, but I'm not worried about it. We're going to try to match it. So for the start is the first frame and the end frame is 369. So you have to type in 369. If you don't, it's going to loop between the very short distance of frames. And we'll go back and play it. Utilizing Pose AI, it is a dope way. And the reason why that got cut off is probably because I cut it at a specific point. So, and also the frames per second may not be the same. So if you want to get an exact frame per second for the actual motion, you want to probably reduce your frame by frame reference of your video, or how you choose to generate frames per second here. So let's see. Yeah, you're gonna have to match the frames per second for your audio and for your video. I don't remember how I did that in the past for the purposes of lip sync, but this video is not about lip sync. I'm just showing y'all folks how to get a close remotely close lip sync that will match what you previously expected your video to look like or sound like. So let's see the driving videos, what do they call it, frames per second. So we're gonna go into properties and go to details, and it is 25.07 frames per second. So I don't know if I can adjust the audio to that level, but also I probably kind of screwed up at some point in some fashion or manner. I'm not sure, but actually let me go to that audio file and see what that audio file says. Metamorph here. Let's go to properties and go to details. And does it tell us? It's not really frames. Bitrate. So the audio bitrate, I don't know how you can match this with the frames per second, but the length is 14 seconds.
So the length of that is 14 seconds, and the length of this is 14 seconds. Actually, this is 15 seconds. That's what it is. So let me go back, open this up, see what I'm missing. Dope way. Okay, so let's go back and let's see what we got at the tail end. Utilizing Pose AI, it is a dope way. Same exact timing. Wow. So somehow it's not positioning everything in. It ends at dope way, and then this one ends at dope way. Okay, that's because there's some at the tail end of the graphic. You know what? I've never really did lip sync the way I'm doing now. I usually use image frames or image sequences instead of the actual video itself. So that's probably why I'm not really able to sequence it the way I want it. But I don't know. I probably can get it to work either way. Let's go back to Blender. Go back over here. And let's start it off again. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I got it running at a high frame rate. Oh, you know what? Let's change this to 25. And then go back. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start off a brand new video editor. Don't save. And we're gonna change this to 25. And then we're gonna add the video in there. That's probably what happened. Because I started out at a different frame rate. We'll lock in the frames per second at 369 or something like that. I don't know. Not frames per second, the end frame. 369. What in the world? Oh, okay. I understand. It's not the same as how I'm used to. But where did it go? What in the world just happened? Where did it go? Let's do that again. Oh, I put it on a 369, 128th channel. These are channels. I didn't realize that. All right, whatever. So Metamorph 1. This one is Metamorph 2. Add movie strip. Nope. It's not that. Add, let's see, Metamorph 1. Let's try. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, folks. Losing track of what I'm doing. All right, let's try this again. Oh, yeah, it is not Metamorph. It's driving. What am I thinking? It's not even the driving one. Which was the video? Oh, it is. Hold on. It is one of these. So I think it's Metamorph 2. Yeah, this one. So I have to redo everything. Oh my gosh. So crop from the far left, 600.
start it over again, because somehow I made a big error. All right, let's take my time. Add movie strip. There we go. So crop on the left. Boom. And then from the top, boom. From the bottom, boom. And then from the right, boom. And then transform. Position X. Bam. Scale. In the X position, bam. Okay, so now we're ready for the audio. Let's hit the play and see what it does. See, now it's moving at its normal rate at 25 frames per second. All right, now we're gonna add the sound. Add that bad boy in there, and let's scale it down a little bit. And it added it at the wrong point. There we go. So we'll do that. And is it still moving? It is still moving. It's interesting that the audio doesn't match, even though it's both 14 seconds in time. Well, let's hit the back arrow and let's see. Oh, okay, so let's move this over here. AI, it is a dope way. Now it should be at 25. I set it at 25. Why was it at 20? Let's add the sound again. All right, let's take this out. Let's bring down the frames per second and then add the sound again. See where the sound lands. Look at that. It's still small in comparison, which doesn't make sense. If I bring it all the way down to such a tiny size, the sound should go up. Nope, it's still a tiny sound, even though I brought it down. That doesn't make sense. What is going on with this frames per second? Whatever the case is, the audio is out of sync. I'm not sure how or why it's not matching. I have no idea why this envelope here would not make a difference from the audio envelope. Like, you should be able to mirror it for sure. But whatever the case may be, I'm gonna end this session because this part is an epic fail. I'm gonna figure out how to work on the audio lip sync to get it exact. But I've been able to do it many times with the MetaHuman creator, and all of the different metahuman stuff that I've created already in the past, just to understand why this video file is like locked in a particular position with respect to the audio, and they should be the same length and time. Like this should be 15 seconds and this should be 15 seconds. But for some reason, the audio finishes before the video. Even though it's the same gap of time, technically, that is bizarre. So somehow in the manipulation process, maybe we lost some time. I'm not sure. But I do know this one is 15 seconds. So if I try to use, let me just try to use this one. Let's do that. So we'll go in before we end the session and we'll add the driver and see where the driver lands. See, the driver landed at the same size, same position, almost with respect to the previous one. So technically I could have just used the driver to get in there. But the new one is at a different timing somehow. So what I could do is use another version of Blender and try to shorten this frame per second and then bring it in as a shorter time frame. Let me try that. So let's go into this one. This was a Spider-Man one I was playing with. We're gonna go in and you can see the animation if you want, just for shits and giggles. This is the animation that I was playing with, trying to create a Spider-Man AI image to image graphic. So we're gonna go in and go to video editing, don't save, and we'll bring in that movie clip, and we'll see at different sizes and spaces of pixels. We'll see what it does. Let's see. So all this stuff I tend to have issues with from time to time, which is what y'all seeing. From one thing to the next, like trying to manipulate and trying to figure out what I'm doing. Use movie frame rate. See, it says right here. Maybe I have to uncheck movie frame rate, because maybe that thing got screwed up. Add movie strip. Right. Okay. I think I figured it out. So now that's 25 frames per second. And this should work out in the scale that I want. Alright. And then render it. I don't care what this looks like here, per se. We can crop it and do all that crap. Actually, this is not the one. So let's edit and undo, edit, undo, and bring in the other one. And it's not an image sequence, so let me do that over. It's a movie. Metamorph 2, that's what I was supposed to bring in. And then top, bottom, right, and transform. Scale. There we go. All right, now we're back in the same proximity, and we want to send this over as a, let's see, as that video format, not format, but bit clip, accept, and everything else is good. So we will render it and see what it does. And that should deliver us a certain size that we can put in We're going to delete this one, so we don't need that one. We're also going to delete the audio here. We don't really need that per se. We can go in and use it whenever we want. And we don't need the imagery. We're just going to use the audio. All right, so we're going to go add, go movie strip. And this is the one here from 0,001 to 250. I'm going to add it in there. And it is a short one for sure. Hold on, let's go back. Maybe I neglected to do something, which is the frame rate. So this frame rate is at 449. I forgot to change that. 449. We're going to do it over again, render. And we will go out and then go back over here. We will delete that last one, 250, whatever, and bring in the new one. So let's go add movie. And this one's going to be 001 to 449 MP4. Boom. And it is much larger. Okay, that's good. So what we're going to do is drop the size. So let's go in, and to drop the size of the pixels, we will go in here and start changing. Hold on. Custom. Let's drop it down to 19 frames per second. Render animation should be shorter, but it will go all the way out. There we go. All right, so now we're gonna drop this down. Right there. So it is at 357. Now let's see what the other one is at. Hold on one second. We might be able to match the frames. Where are we at? Here we go. Let's see if we can match the frames. 375. Okay, that's 375 for the audio. So we have to match the video to the audio. Let's try that. So we'll turn this to 375. 375. So in order to make that work, we have to make the audio that same length. So let's look where it's at the very tail end. And we got to move this to 375. Here we go. And then we'll move the frames per second to match. That's 20 frames per second. What the hell? Yeah, but why can't we get in between? So in 1 frame per second, 19 point, let's try 0.1. Let's try 0.7. How about, let's go to 0.65. Oh no, 0.75. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. So it's 0.7. Let's go 0.7. Right there. All right. So at 0.7, we're now at 375, I think. Nope, that's not exactly 375. That's 368. 375 is right there. So let's see the steps. Oops, not steps. The base. Go down a little bit more. And I think that's it right there. Yep, that's 375. All right, so this should work. What we'll do here is render it. Render animation. And it should fit the same exact size. There we go. From that, we will go to the previous one, add movie, and 01 to 375. Okay. What in the world? This is at 375. So why isn't it the same size? That makes no sense. Y'all folks just saw what I did. So I guess because I'm inserting it into a 25 frame per second segment. We're gonna have to figure that out, man. That's something very bizarre. Cause I set this one. Oh, you know, cause it's at. Let's go to 25. And then 375 is right there. How do we get this audio to squeeze in at 25 frames per second? Change the base. Oh. Hold on. Even that is not going to work that well. The base is different. But let's try it. Let's see. Render it. We're going to overwrite the other one because it's still 1 to 375. And then we're going to delete this one. Go back. And then we will add one more time. This doesn't work. I don't know what to say. Still didn't work. Why? I don't understand why it's not shortening the video clip. That makes absolutely no sense. Hold on. Movie. Use movie frame. Okay, let's try that. Hold on a second. Why can't I delete it? I think I just corrupted this thing. Let's go to edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo. There we go. Somehow I corrupted it. I've never seen that happen before. All right. Sound, audio playback rate, adjust playback rate. Oh. Add movie strip. Oh, there we go. One simple, stupid setting. That little setting is what screwed me up. All right, let's try this. All right, I got it working. As you can see, folks, on Blender, it's a little tough sometimes doing different things, but it takes a little while to figure it out. So the way that I figured it out now through trial and error by mistake, when you're adding a movie instead of image sequence, you have to change some of the things over here to appropriate for your adjustments. So see, it says adjust playback rate. So I unchecked it, and then it went through and it fixed it. So if you have it as it says play as normal speed regardless of scene FPS, you don't want that obviously for your lip sync. So you want to uncheck this if you're trying to match it with a pre-designated graphic or whatever video that you put in there. So now they match and the lip sync should work fine. So now what I'm going to do is go to render and render animation. Now if it's slightly off, I just have to adjust the audio file on Audacity and for the timing differential so that I go forward or backward in time. So to do that in Audacity, you just go in and basically clip small little portions off from the tail end by deleting it, or try to add time in there. So you may have to add or remove some time depending on what you choose to do. There's ways to do that. You can right click, I believe, and then copy, right click, paste. So it should go in and paste a little small portion and push it out. See how I pushed it? And then you can edit, undo, paste, and then try to delete portions. So I'm just gonna delete like a small portion and go split clip or cut. We can cut, and when you cut, it drops it down. So now what I'll do here is save again or export as an MP3, and then I'll go in and call it the same thing, save directly over it, replace it, and then hit OK so I don't have to re-annotate the information. And then I can take this one out, this audio out, which is the driving one, and replace it with a new sound. Metamorph .mp3, and then let's see what it does. Okay, so that worked out. Looks like it's somewhat lip sync pretty good. We're gonna render this, and now it's rendering the full video, and I can pick it up at that particular folder that I designated it. Actually, I did not designate this one. Made an error. So this one is set up for the temp folder on my computer, which most folks by default are going to send it to the temp folder. But let me change the folder. I can go in and actually grab it if I wanted to, or drag it. Can I drag it? No, I can't drag it out. Would be nice to be able to grab it and drag it from Blender, but you can't. So I'll just go on my computer and find it. It's in the TMP folder, and I'm gonna cut it and then put it where I want to put it at. Vid clip, and then right click and paste. And then it should be in there. I can right click and open with media player. All right, so now all I got to do is go to OBS Studio so you can hear it, and activate my desktop, and then deactivate my microphone. Give me 1 second. Today, I'm your host, Mike Pugh, of the Virtual Intel channel,
and I have some fun stuff to talk about today. We are utilizing Pose AI. It is a dope way. All right, so that worked out, folks, and hopefully I was able to see all of that. That proved to you that the possibility of lip sync and everything is doable on Blender. Just takes a little time playing around back and forth, knowing the settings and things like that. So once you get it all set and done, you should have a really decent video. Now, the upscaling of this thing, the graphic, if you want to change the quality, the overall quality, like I said, you want to play around with the sizing. So let's go. Let me see if I could fix that real quick for those who are trying to figure out that part. So we're gonna go back over here. As you can see, the quality looks good here. It dropped a little bit, somewhat, but let's just upscale his image to a much higher degree. So we're gonna use upscaler. I have a connection to the upscaler real quick. Hold on 1 second. Let's see, GFP-GAN. This GFP-GAN thing is really dope. I'm gonna go in and upscale him and by a factor of 8 times, and then see what it does. If y'all folks don't know anything about this upscaling capability, check my channel as well for a video on it. I have different videos on it. I think one at least. It's about 20 minutes long, I believe. But it's worth it because it explains how the GFP-GAN works. And you can check other people's channels as well. Just learn as much as you can on all this stuff in terms of upscaling, because you want to get the best quality graphic that you can get for your AI art. So once you start working it in to like video footage and stuff like that, you really can get something that looks good. So let's see what we can do with the pixels. So the higher the scale, the much more concentrated and higher quality the video graphic should look. So if I could work that out and get that working through GFP-GAN, that'd be dope. So I just gotta wait for it to do its magic, on-screen magic. Now, GFP-GAN actually helps you to restore images if you're working on like old images. It could be family images. It could be images that went out of whack in your archive for selfie photos or anything. Any kind of imagery that you want to restore and improve on the face and things like that, it will try to do that. And one thing I will see is that the eyes are going to try to be restored as well. So these blue and red eyes may go away, which I don't want that to happen because I actually want this to go all the way through. You notice this character has multiple lips as well. So that was because the tool that I used to create him went in and tried to do that. But as you can see, it went in and did an upscale over here as well. And it looks like he's a vampire somehow now, as opposed to just more of a cyborg. So maybe he's a vampire cyborg, I don't know. But I can use this image and then just drag that one in if the upscaler doesn't work. Looks like the upscaler is taking forever to correct some of his issues. Probably because, like I showed, the head is cut off or whatever. So it's going in and trying to do that. It's doing too much, basically. So let's get rid of the seed. And then maybe we can fix that issue before I end this live stream. We're going to put it at 0 and play around with that. I'm going to reconnect. And I lost connection to this because I took too long.
So we're gonna connect without the GPU and see if I could try to change and adjust one of the settings. We got low VRAM. We'll take out the VRAM overspeed and try to run it again and see if it still runs. So it should run. I don't know if it's gonna run or not, but it's all good. All right, so let's see. It's installing diffusers. It looks like it's still gonna run, so we'll let that run behind the scenes, and then double check the GFP GAN. It's still running. Look at that. So you may have an issue with this if you go too hard with it. I went for 8 times scale factor. So let me see what size it was before. 720. So maybe we want to step it down and then scale it back up. So let's go open it with Paint. Step it down a little bit to about 512. And then we'll just crank it up 4 times. Did I actually save that? Hold on one second. Let's save it. File, save as, and then we'll bring it in here. We'll end this session, clear it. All right, it's having some issues, struggling. All right, and we'll bring it back in. Open, and we'll just go up 4 times. Submit that. Hey, booby. All right, so this should work out better. There it goes. So it scaled it, and it fixed the lips. Didn't really get rid of the eye color, which is pretty decent. It's good, but it happened pretty fast. So that's upscaled. We'll save it. We'll save it as this source and get rid of the other one because this is a newer version. That will fix the lip problem. And then we will go back to MS Paint and resize it to bring it down. Because if you try to bring it in as a large scale, it's not going to work too well. So we'll go new. And then we'll open a file. Find that vid clip. And then bring in source 8. And then we're going to downsize it. Because it's... Oh, so it multiplied it by only 2. That's interesting. So let's bring it down to 720 as the original that I used. And then we're gonna save this as source 9 because actually I like the scale that it brought it up. You know what? Yeah, I'll use this one as source 9, but I'm gonna up it again. I'm gonna use another upscaling software to go at the quality, to up the quality factor. So this one is known as where's it at? RealGAN. So this RealGAN one is pretty dope. All you got to do is drag on top of it. If you have like a Windows computer, you just drag the image on top of the batch file, the Windows batch file, and then it scales it up. So if y'all folks want to get that, if you don't have a source to get it, you don't have no knowledge of it, I'll try to help y'all folks with that. Maybe create a video for it. So hold on one second. So we'll take this, drag it over to Real SGRAN, and it's going to scale it up pretty high. But the pixels is basically going to be super high quality. So see what it does with the pixels. So now with this graphic, I can take this graphic, bring it back down to MS Paint, and then insert this as a source. So all of this is basically reiterating and correcting pixel quality and stuff like that. So we'll make this as new and we'll bring in that one. So it's going to tell you that it times it by 4. So it's source 8 underscore 4 times. I'm going to open it and we're gonna bring it down. As you can see, the pixels is like crazy scaled out and high quality details, so it's very fine-tuned detail. So I'm gonna bust it down, break it down to 720, but that pixel quality is gonna maintain high quality. As you can see, it's super high quality. Teeth look better, eyes look better, everything looks better. So I'm gonna use this as the source file, and we'll get rid of this one which didn't work, which was a test. I'm gonna save that, replace it, and we'll go back to the Google Collab page and build upon what we previously did, and then try to bring it back to Blender, just for shits and giggles, just to see if I can get a better graphic. So all this was probably timed out. Let's try to reconnect. It should allow me to connect since I didn't use up all the GPU, and it will bring back the folder. It should bring back the folder. If it doesn't, then you just got to go and start over from scratch. Run it again. So you run the first cell, and then so on and so forth. And you see, look at the check marks again, which should happen pretty fast. Sometimes it detects that it already ran, so it will tell you that it has nothing else to do. So you just look at the bottom areas for whatever the details that is showcasing there, and that will help you to move further. And now this one did not work. The first two worked. Okay, now it went through. Somehow it had a little glitch, but we'll go in and we'll change out the asset. I'm pretty sure the assets are the previous ones that I had in there already. So I'm going to go in and delete the file for PNG, and then for the source, and then I'm going to upload a new source, which is the one that I got here. And there we go. So now I'm going to run the rest of them. So this one went through the checkpoints, good. I'm going to run this one. That checks good, and then we're going to run this one. And this one's going to input the video. So the video should be the same technically. We can check it if we want to by downloading it. So let me do that. I'm going to download it just to see if it's the same video. And we will call it driving 2, because I don't care about that. That was a test as well, showing y'all folks a demo of how to get the video to be the same size. I'm gonna save it, hit yes, and yep, it's not the upgraded video. So this is the previous video that was put in there. So this is the default video, by the way. So we're gonna go in and change the driving video, delete it, and what we'll do is upload the new driving video. Is this one? Oh no, that's 46 seconds.
Oh, gosh.
It's this one. We'll upload this one, and we just have to run that cell over again after it uploads. Okay, so we'll run this cell one more time. It will plug in a new source, or not new source, but it already plugged in the source, the new driving video, and bypass the default one. And we're going to cross our fingers for higher quality. So if you work on the quality ahead of time, which I didn't want to show that in the beginning because it would have took more time to show it. But if you work on the quality ahead of time, obviously you're going to get a much better result as a tail end byproduct, as the video that you're looking to create. But at least y'all folks know the process. All right, there we go. We got that. And we're going to run the very short cell and the final cell. And the final product should look way better than the previous one. What y'all folks saw is right, not here, but over here. Very low quality pixels. Let me see if I could increase the size of the screen. Look at that. Very low quality, right? So you don't want that as your end product video. But that's because it's 720 by 720. And besides that fact, it's also the resolution on the original was very, very low in pixel quality. But since I upscaled it multiple times using multiple tools, it should account for a differential. All right, so this is the proof in the pudding, the digital pudding, so to speak. We shall see. And away we go. There we go. So that's the end product right there. And it does look a lot better, at least from what I think. I'm going to go download. And we will download it as Morph 2. We'll override that last one. So replace it. Why does it say insufficient permissions? Well, if that happens, if you have an insufficient permission issue, you want to right click and save video as and try that. There's another way to do it. We're going to save over it and it says I failed. All right, that's fine. Let me get rid of that video, the original video for Metamorph 2. We're going to delete it. We don't want it. It's not allowing me to. Wow. It's saying the file is in use. How is it in use? I don't know. That's what's wrong with it. So somehow the video is in use somewhere. We will close whatever it is that has it running. Or whatever the case may be, we'll start a brand new file name. Sorry about that. So let's do that over. Download. Call it Metamorph 3. And that should work. That worked out. Showing folder. And then let's try to delete this one. See if we can delete it. Still not letting me. Oh, because it's open in Blender. Okay. Saying it's open in Blender. Oh, okay, because I got these open in Blender. That makes sense. So since it's in here, it doesn't want me to manipulate it. Interesting. All right, let's scroll this up. So Metamorph right there. We will delete that one. And that should work out. And this one here. Whatever the case is, I can work this out. So that's MP4. And that's the video. I think this is the video. Let me see. I'm not sure which one is which. Hold on. Oh, okay, so it's the bottom one. Nope. It's not that one. It's this one. Okay, there we go. So now it should allow me to delete this one. I just want to get rid of it. Nope. It's the other blender. There's multiple blenders I have open with it. So it's this one here. Delete that one. All right, let's try it again. All right, there we go. Now it allowed me to delete it. So it's because it was open in Blender. I'm not worried about it. All right, so we're going to bring him in. And look, see his teeth was fixed. Everything looks better. So we will bring that into Blender, which is this one here. And then go back. Forward, backward. Add image, add movie, I should say. And Metamorph 3. Bring it in. and then I'll transform and reposition and all that stuff. So actually just bring the scale up. And then we will go for the crop. And then let's see, the X. Scale. So scale up. There we go. And over X position. And that should be it. All right. So now what we'll do is add the audio again, but the scale is better. And let's see. All right. I know what I did wrong. I messed up. So we'll bring it in one more time as a movie. And this time we'll adjust the audio playback, like uncheck it like we did before, so it comes in a lot better. Now it may not match because I did not do the adjustment like I did in the other one. But it's working. It's working great. All right, so what I'm gonna do is do everything I just did, scale it all the way out, scale it up, reposition it, and crop. And then hold on, position Y, boom. All right, we're good. And then from there we will render the animation. The quality is still low. Now I wonder if they have a video upscaler. That would be nice. Let's try, for shits and giggles, if we can make it 720 by 720. What is it? Not 720. 1280. Let's try a 1280 by 720. Let's try that. Move this to 1280. Okay, let's try that. And then I'm just trying to see a way of improving the pixel quality. Like, I really want to get a great graphic. If I can accomplish that, that will solve a lot of problems for a great many people. Okay, and doing this live is pretty dope if I can get it to work live. All right, that's that. And we will save this. It's so loud in this house, I don't know why, but we'll save this as source 10. And we will try to get an actual video. Get the video to fit that size as well. So what we're gonna do is go in and we will import, edit. We will turn this to 1280. 1280. And then change this to 720. Apply. And there we go. We will take this, hit done, save as, and then save it as the driver. We will call it driver 3. Call this driver 3, publish it, and we will go back in there. I should have saved it as driver 2, but it's okay. Or driving. And we'll just wait for that to finish. So far we got source 10 and we have driver, well, let me rename it and call it driving 3. ING. Enter. All right, now we got that. Yeah, it's just extremely loud in this house. It's crazy. Hold on 1 second. I apologize, folks, for that. Pause that right there. Let's make sure that audio is working right. Yep, the audio is good. All right, so from this point, we will go back in and try the new source and driving. So we'll go delete that one. Actually, let's leave this one and rename it. We'll rename this one driving A. And rename this one source A. Because I know I like them. I don't want to get rid of them. And then we'll put in the others, the other 2. So driving 1. No, not driving 1. Driving 3 and source 3. And then source 3. Or not source 3, source 10. And just change the name convention. So the naming convention will be now source. And this one will be source. Let's see. I'm hoping that audio upstairs is not getting into my video because I don't want no copyright strikes issues, because that would be really messed up, because that's not my usage. Someone upstairs is like blasting their music. So I don't know, man. That's crazy. I'm trying to do live streams and the household is out of control. It's unstable. It's open. It's live. It's getting crazy. I'm probably gonna have to end this session because I hear too much background noise. But yeah, let's try to make this work. We will run it one more time and see if this works, and then we'll end the session. And I'll review the video if I have to go in and smash this video's ending for the audio having all kinds of volume and different things going on in the background. I will have to edit it out and get rid of it. But other than that, this looks like it's going to turn out good if it works. I just hope it works so I can get much higher quality. That's the whole concept behind what I'm doing now. Just going for a better quality. So I'm going to turn off the audio so y'all folks don't hear all this stuff that's going on in the background, and I don't have any issues with this stupid copyright stuff. All right, I threw in an audio filter. Hopefully that filter helps out to block out a lot of that added additional audio in the background. And we should be good. Let's see. Sitting at 100%. And we will see what the result is if we change that sizing of the graphic for both the video and the driving video and the source. But yeah, this is a way to possibly improve the quality. I don't know. Nope, it did not work. It distorted because the background is really crazy back here, and it offsets everything. So you definitely have to use those sizes. So the limitation, as you can see, is the sizing of the graphic. So that's a wrap. I'm done with this. This just proves that you can't play around with the size. You want to have the same, more like a square shaped size, and have that centered graphic going on if you want to really get good manipulation. So it doesn't work too good at all because this size is not the same, and it's struggling trying to detect the motion, obviously. But other than that, I'm out of here. Joe Love and Peace to all. Mike Pugh signing off. This was a successful attempt and playing around and getting y'all folks to see what Thin-Plate Spline Motion Model is, how it works to some degree, and the ease of it, but also to do different things with it to try to improve quality or whatever you can do to come up with better graphics. Because if you're trying to recreate something, you know, of like an AI art, you really want the highest quality that you can get. Obviously, quality is like everything today. But if they do have a way for you to upscale video as the end product, that would be pretty amazing. I just would have to look up the upscale of video and maybe we can find something like that. Let's try it real quick. Let me just look up upscale video. Upscale video. Upscale video to 4K. Let's try that. Let's see. Video converter on your Windows. Download and install converter. Import. Select 4K. They do have something like that, so maybe that could work as well. If you can get something to upscale your video, that would be pretty dope. How to AI upscale videos from HD to 4K. Look at that. So they may have different ways to do it. Other than that, I'm out, and I'll see y'all folks next time. Peace. Feel free to hit the thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to, pass my video on socially if you feel it's going to benefit other people. And I'll see you next time.